What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Christ Culture Fitness, a subsidiary of Beholding the Truth. We are on our way to the gym, getting ready for a very nice chest day. Looking forward to that. Chest day, best day, Roman breastplate day. It's always the best day of the week. I actually tried to have a chest day yesterday and even tried to start recording, but I got a little busy talking to people in the gym and ended up talking to them for like 20 minutes about cameras and lenses and stuff like that. And by then I'd already lost the pump and I needed to be home in 30 minutes. So the rest of the workout would have been rushed. I wouldn't have been able to record. So we had to abort mission and get ourselves home. But that's all right. It's not a big deal when we miss a day, given that we go to the gym literally every day of our life. So we can afford a unscheduled rest day here and there. That's why you need to grind. That's why you need to go every day, because sometimes life happens. Sometimes your schedule gets a little more crunched than you thought it would, but you've already done all the extra credit so that missing a day isn't a big deal. So I have a topic in mind to chat with you guys about due to a message I got earlier today regarding supplements that I thought would be a fun conversation for us to break down, because my gosh, is that a popular subject, especially when people are first getting into the fitness lifestyle. One of the first things they want to know: what supplements do I need? What are the most efficacious? How fast do they work? They're already like 5 steps ahead on their skis. They're way over their skis, asking about how fast the supplements are going to work and what's the best place to buy them and all this other stuff. And it's like, all right, hold on. Are you even going to the gym? Do you even know how many calories to eat? Because the gym and the diet are going to be, and diet is a separate subject than supplements. Supplements, the root word is supplement. Okay? They supplement your diet. They are not your diet. So dialing in your diet and your exercise routine correctly first, that's going to dictate, not exaggerating, 95% of your results over the long term. The supplementation you do on top of your diet and routine, it'll put some polish on top and it might make things a little easier, but you're talking about 5% in terms of your overall progress. That's going to come from supplements. So let's just get that out of the way first. Now, let me read to you the message I got. This is not throwing shade at the person who sent it to me, because they love this subject and they do a lot of research, and there's a time and place for supplements. But when I'm talking about the fitness lifestyle and everybody having a million questions about what supplements do I really need. So this is a tweet from this guy named James Dino Nicolantonio, aka Dr. James D-Nick. And he says, when to take your supplements. Vitamin D3/K2, obviously you need to be taking both those together. Well, you need to take those with fat and during daytime. When should you take magnesium? Away from high fat and fiber. Your B vitamins should be taken 30 minutes before you take caffeine. Your omega-3s should be taken with fat and away from iron. Inositol should be taken in the daytime or evening. Creatine you should take post-lift with carbs and protein. Your collagen should be taken post-exercise with vitamin C. Salt and electrolytes before caffeine and coffee. And your CoQ10 should be taken with fat and after a meal. So I hope you guys are taking notes on all of that. There's your 10 to 12 different supplements, and when you need to be taking them and what foods you should be taking them with, before, after, simultaneous. All right, let me tell you, that's useless. All of that information is absolutely useless. When it comes to yourself, your physique, gaining strength over the long term, all of that minutia of thinking you need to be taking 10 to 12 different supplements, what time of day you then need to take those supplements, and then what foods or other supplements you should be taking them with, you are way, way down in the weeds. if you're putting time into figuring out the answers to all of those questions and you haven't yet consistently gone to the gym for an entire month, 5 days a week, 4 or 5, if you have not yet tracked your calories for an entire month every day and figured out whether or not you should be in a caloric surplus, maintenance, or deficit, and adhered to that caloric surplus, maintenance, or deficit for an entire month, you have no business looking at all that information and trying to micromanage your micronutrient intake down to that level. And I'll also give you another spoiler. Nobody actually does any of that. They might do 1 or 2 of them, something like that. But the level of neuroticism required to adhere to a supplement protocol like that, it's absolutely insane. Literally insane. Like, that, neurotic is the perfect word to describe thinking that you need to adhere to that for either you to get progress or for those supplements to even work in the first place. Take your creatine. You can take it morning or night. If you're first starting taking it, take your 5 grams per day for the loading phase. It doesn't matter. The accumulation of creatine, for example, in your system to become fully saturated, it doesn't happen in 24 hours anyway. It takes at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks, for your body to be fully saturated with creatine. And it's not going to make a difference if you take it with some other food or if you take it in the morning or right before bed or whatever else. And the same is true for your protein intake. It used to be people said, oh, you can only digest 30 grams of protein in one sitting. So that means you need to eat 5 square meals and you need to have a protein shake immediately after lifting. Oh, but then new science says, actually, none of that shit matters. Just eat 1 gram per pound of body weight over time. That's a safe insurance policy to make sure you're always sufficiently taking in enough protein to repair and regrow muscle that was torn down in the gym. And what I know based on anecdotal experience, aka bro science, is that none of this shit is anywhere near as complicated as nutritionists and supplement companies want you to believe. It really is not. Take a multivitamin in the morning. Take your creatine in the morning. And that's it. Get your protein throughout the day. Drink a gallon of water. Done. There you go. That's 95 of the 100% of supplementation that you need to do if you think you even have to do supplementation in the first place. And by the way, water is not a supplement. Protein is not a supplement. That's part of your diet. That's food. That's a steak. That's chicken. I mean, I couldn't help but roll my eyes and laugh when I saw that, because I was like, nobody in the world is doing this. And if you are way off this, the grid, the spectrum of autism, and I honestly think it'd be impossible to get along with you. I mean, people think it's bad enough if you just intermittent fast, and they're like, oh, well, that makes it difficult to schedule breakfast and lunch with you, and blah, 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 blah. All right, imagine that. Imagine like, oh, I don't know, this has vitamin B2 in it, and I can't take it unless I'm also having some vitamin K. Like, what the hell? Come on, man. You know, it's not to shit on people who devote their entire careers to looking into these subjects. And I want to say 2 things about this. 1, the difference between optimal efficacy, you know, the best of the best, getting the most out of X supplement versus taking the supplement non-optimally. It's marginal. It's a few percent. As I said, if you take your creatine during the morning, same time every day, or if you take it at night, same time every day, if you spread your protein out versus you have it intermittent fasting style all at the same time, if you take your multivitamin in the morning or with your lunch or whatever, is it true that maybe if you perfectly pair it with the right other food, with the right nutrients at the right time and all this other stuff, will you get 100% efficacy out of it? Yeah, I'm sure that's probably true. But it's also true that if you just take the shit consistently, you're going to get 95% of the benefit from it. And even then, with the between 95 to 100% of the benefit from it, It's not going to dramatically change your life. It's not going to exponentially increase your gains. You're not going to get ripped faster, shredded faster, stack muscle faster. I mean, this is just real talk. Like, I'm sorry if it is a red pill for you to learn these things and you thought that the secret to all of this was the right supplement protocol. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. My book, Ascension, Achieving Physical, Spiritual, and Mental Mastery, has a whole chapter devoted to supplements and performance-enhancing drugs. So if you want a little bit more information on either of those subjects, feel free to check that out, beholdenthetruth.com. It also breaks down everything else related to the fitness lifestyle, behavioral, dietary, hypertrophy routines, and all this other stuff. It's a 100-page book. You also get to see my visual 10-year transformation going from a skinny fat 125-pound World of Warcraft playing loser to the aesthetic grandmaster grand wizard. It's a great book, honestly. I mean, seriously, bestseller. So seems like there was one other thing I was going to say about that. The difference between optimal versus good enough, it's pretty small. Don't worry about it. Man, there was one other thing. Hold on, let me take a sip of this pre-workout here. See if this caffeine, I hope I'm taking it at the right time of day. I'm sure I'm not taking it with the right pair of other micronutrients and macronutrients, but I don't know. My 11 years of experience using caffeine as a pre-workout tells me that having it on the way to the gym works very well. So that's what I do. That is like criminally good. I tell you guys, sour gummy worm, proprietary concoction though. We have 2 different pre-workout powders in here. Then we have a scoop of citric acid to make it a bit more sour. And it's like ice cold. I put it in the fridge this morning. Oof. If somebody would sell this just like straight out of the tub and it tasted like this, to get this flavor, as I said, I have to mix a couple flavors, add my own citric acid. If I could buy one that just tasted like this straight up, I'd be set for life. What was that other thing? That's gonna haunt me because there's one other important point I wanted to make about these damn supplements. Save your money, okay? That's not the point I was thinking of, but save your money. Put the money you would put towards dieting, towards quality whole food. Get yourself a pre-workout, get a multivitamin, get your creatine, and that's it. And a gym membership, okay? Seriously, if you're blowing $50 a month on a supplement, thinking that that's going to move you towards your body fat or appearance goals, whatever, actually, what's going to do that is spending $50 a month to get a gym membership and taking your ass there and doing the hard work. Okay, I remember now. Here's the big thing. If you wanted proof that Josh is right about everything I just said, okay, here's the proof. Use common sense. 60 years ago, before obesity not only doubled, but tripled in the last 50 years, so back when almost the entire public were lean, trim, before heart disease started killing people and people are dropping like flies to heart attacks and all this other bullshit. Okay, so before all of that happened, did anybody have any clue about the 12 different things that I just talked about from Dr. Roberto, whatever? Was anybody microdosing and micro-timing and pairing with the right foods, these 12 different supplements? Yet all of them were in better health, living longer, looking better, mentally healthier than we are now. So how is it that thanks to the science, we know down to the minute when you need to take your B12 and your K3 and your magnesium and blah, 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 blah? How is it that with the advantage of modern science, we know all of these things, and Lord knows it's become a $1 trillion industry. Everybody has these supplements, apparently. How is it with all of that, everybody is still fat as fuck, weak as fuck, psychologically fucked up? Life expectancy has decreased, but we have all this knowledge. The supplements are widely available. Most of them are dirt cheap. Yet the entire society is worse, physically speaking, and every other facet too. But in this conversation, contextually, you tell me, genius. Okay, hold on. Do we need to read this again? Now you know the golden information of when to take your vitamin K3, K2, magnesium, B vitamins, when to take your fiber, your omega-3s, your inositol, your iron, your creatine, your collagen, your vitamin C, your salt and electrolytes, your CoQ10, your caffeine. Okay? You have all this information, so does everybody else. They've had it for a while. All these supplement companies and various universities invested millions of dollars to get these studies out to the public to help them. But when I go outside, everybody is literally waddling into the grocery store in chronic pain and inflammation and dying early. Okay, Josh was right. We don't need these fucking supplements. We don't need Dr. Goofy McFucking-Sign or whatever his name is. We don't need any of that bullshit, okay? You just need to go to the gym. The only nutritional, scientific-based advancement that we have made that is actually very, very, very valuable is calories. Using the kilometer to put food into what is basically like a more technologically advanced oven, reduce it down using heat to find out what the energy content is of any given food, a potato, a chicken, or whatever. That is actually pretty spot on. No, not every calorie is the same, especially when you talk about non-digestible fibers. But large picture here, calories in, calories out, that is proven to be real. I have methodically proven out that in my own life. Ask any fitness or nutritionist coach who just adheres to that, not this prescription for a dozen supplements and pairing them with the right food during the right times of day, but just, okay, here is your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure. Okay? Your basal metabolic rate plus your non-exercise activity level. Here's how many calories you should be eating. Go do that. If you want to gain muscle mass, eat 10% more than that. If you want to lose fat, eat 10% less than that. Go do that consistently within a margin of error of 5%. You don't have to be perfect every day. Ignore all this bullshit supplement scams, and you will get results. 100% guaranteed. I would bet my life on it. I would bet my life savings on it. So, that's a talk today about, look at this, like now we're going to be out of focus. At the climax of the conversation where I'm making you guys a promise, giving you my life savings, betting my life on it, then the camera wants to go out of focus, really? I don't even know why. I'm like sitting here in the same spot that I've been in. What is going on here? I think, is it because like people in the background are walking around? Camera, do you think you could just cooperate for a vlog just once in your life? Okay, I'll talk about one other thing because I was thinking about this, and it's kind of like the supplement conversation. It's also a little bit like when you're learning to lift for the first time. But I've been heavy in the education and research of videography, cinematography, all this equipment, trying to learn how to create the best visual product for you guys. And that means learning all about lighting and the various, what are they called? Facets of lighting. You have your ISO, you have your aperture, you have your shutter speed. Those are like the golden triangle of photography and videography. But then there's several other settings on the camera that'll completely fuck you up if you don't have those set right too. One of which is your white balance. So I've been learning about that and how to set that properly. And it's essentially a checklist of anytime you want to film something or photograph something, you have to go down this checklist on your camera and make sure all these things are set correctly in order to get the best possible result. And the other day, I forgot to set the white balance. The other day, I didn't check that the audio was recording. Many times I've taken footage and I'm out of focus. So, I mean, it is literally like 6, 7, 8 different things. Don't forget to check this. Don't forget to check that before you start recording. It's a little tedious. It's worth it. But over time, I have found out that it does start to become a little bit of muscle memory. Like, oh yeah, let me check the white balance real quick. Oh yeah, let me make sure the ISO's dialed in. The same is true, I remember when I first started out with the lifting routine. When you're learning proper form for any given movement, if you're going to go do a bench press, a squat, a deadlift, whatever, and then you go to YouTube to learn how to do that movement correctly, you might be overwhelmed. Where they're talking about setting up for, I don't know, let's just say a squat. And they're talking about keeping your chest up, keeping your elbows down and back, feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly out, 3 points of contact at the feet, whether or not you choose high bar versus low bar. You know, there's a lot. I will fully concede that when you're first starting out, knowing you have to do 4 or 5 movements a day and then figuring out the right form for every single one of those movements, it is a lot. And you should give yourself grace knowing that you're going to do plenty of sets, probably hundreds of sets, not remembering every single one of those movement cues. You know, whenever you're doing a bench press, remember to tuck your elbows in as if there's oranges in your armpits, you know, like, or people say that you're trying to pinch a pencil between your shoulder blades to make sure that your traps are staying locked in. You know, there's a lot of little mental cues and form tips that go into every single movement, but obviously over time, they become second nature. They become muscle memory. And so I'm trying to give myself grace with all these different video techniques where, what did I do? I can't remember what I shot yesterday, but I forgot one little stupid fuck up and I was like, fucking hey. Oh, look, speaking of which, oh, bro, you gotta be kidding me. I think this thing is recording in 120 frames per second for no reason at all. That's awesome. And I think that means it probably didn't record audio for the whole fucking vlog. If that's the case, I will be rather frustrated. Jeez fucking Louise. Jeez fucking Louise. See, that's how ironic is that? It's exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, I also forgot to check how many frames per second, which should not be confused with your shutter speed. Bro. All right, anyway, now I need to turn this off and see if I even recorded in the right frame rate and possibly just wasted both of our time for the entire last 15 minutes. So I'll wrap this up and then we will get in here. The reason the camera's on the wrong frame rate, by the way, is because I wanted to record in super slow motion yesterday rather than doing a narrated breakdown of form tips and stuff. But I forgot to change the video setting from one day to the next. Of course. Of course. And now I'm out of focus. Or what is... Okay, you guys are killing me, man. All right. Before I lose it, before I blow a gasket, I'm going to go in there and do a chest day. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Take care of yourselves. America first, and Christ is King. I'm holding back the anger right now.